So over to you, Beth, because this morning you're going to be sharing with us how to convert your social media posts to customers, something that we all would love to know. And the thing that super impressed me, you went on holidays and I could see your social media drop off. And then you came back and boy, you hit the ground running. And immediately you were picking up customers as soon as your post started going out. So yeah, I would love to know, how do you switch on your amazing social media and convert customers so quickly? So over to you, Bec.
Amazing. Thank you for the introduction, Cheryl. So it's lovely to see you all here this morning, which is a quick presentation about how to profit from your amazing social media posts and how to transform them into clients and into sales. So as you know, I've not been in business for a very long time, but this is one kind of plan and strategy that I was given from a business mentor a few months back, and it's been working, it's been successful within my business. So I'd love to share that with you today. But before I do, I just want, oh, I've gone too far now, bear with me. There we go. I'm particularly honoured to be here today because today is Live Your Passion Day. And it's a day that was created in honour of this man that you can see on the screen. His name is Gary Vee, and he dedicated his life to helping entrepreneurs to create businesses and to make a living from their passions. And I know that that's what we're all doing here in I Am Woman. Every single person I've met from I Am Woman is passionate about what they're doing in their business, and it's really inspiring. And there's a quote there from Gary Vee. It says, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I want to do every day for the rest of my life? Do that. And I think it would be really nice if we just take a moment to celebrate Live Your Passion Day and to celebrate entrepreneurs and to celebrate us. So have a think about your passions and then use the chat box and type in something that you're passionate about. It can be business related, but it doesn't have to be. It might be a personal passion. It might be a passion that maybe not many people know that you have. So use the chat box and just type in what you guys are passionate about. Amazing. Doing this every day, getting to travel to work. I'm obsessed, very lucky to have found my passion. One sec, let me just have a look at the chat box. Cooking and gardening from Cheryl. Beth, family and travel. Yvonne, helping others to be the best version of themselves inside and out. Love that. Steffi, photography. Cheryl also loves shoes. Brilliant. So today's presentation is about social media, and if you are feeling stuck about what to post today, then why not celebrate Live Your Passion Day? Post about your passions, personal or business related. It's a good opportunity to give people an insight to your business and who you are, and also you'll be inspiring other people as well. So I just wanted to share that today because it is an important day for entrepreneurs. And let's move on to today's business. So the aim of today's session then, I've broken it down into 3 different sections, if you like. The first part is exploring our use of social media as a business tool, what you're creating posts about, and also why you're creating them. Then I'm going to share with you a social media plan and a strategy that's been working successfully for me within the business. And then I'm hoping that there'll be some time at the end for you guys to start planning some social media posts that you can then turn into clients. Oh, I've gone backwards. Bear with me. Okay, what's your why for using social media? This is a really nice space for us all to share and to learn from one another. I've been using social media within the business to grow my audience. So in Facebook, I'll go to the little section that says add friends. I'll have a quick look at people's profile. And if it feels like they might be an ideal client, then I'll click to add them as a friend. Also on LinkedIn, I'll research organizations and businesses and people that I'd like to work with, and then I reach out and I connect with them. So it's really important to use social media to grow the audience, because if people don't know about you and they don't know what you're selling, then they can't buy from you. I'm also using it to chat and communicate with my audience. So sometimes that's in the news feed, but more often than not, I use direct message to reach out to ideal clients, build a relationship with them, and share what I'm doing in the business. I'm also using it to market my products and services, to let people know what they can buy from me, what the price is, any special offers, and all of that. So pop in the chat box. It would be great to hear what you guys are using social media for, or if you want to just unmute yourself and you're welcome to speak into the space as well. So what's your why for using social media?
Right, babe. Am I right?
Grow I Am Woman membership. That's from Cheryl. Sell books. I think that one's also from Cheryl. Are there any other reasons why people are posting on social media? Yvonne, inform people about the benefits of aloe vera and also the importance of setting goals, growing a mail list and getting clients. Okay. So ultimately, we're using social media to get clients. I'm also using it to share testimonials. I use social media to create posts that add value. That's just where I share knowledge as an expert in my field to try and build trust with my audience. And also I create posts that give an insight to my life and who I am. But ultimately the goal is to get sales and to create some lovely clients. So I was super happy to find out that we don't have to be showing up constantly on social media. We don't even need to be showing up every single day. But like everything else in business, consistency is key. So it's really important to create a plan that fits your lived experience and then stick to it. And this is a plan that was shared with me a few months ago. I do apologize about this. It's not very pleasant to look at, but it was the best I could do. So bear with me in terms of the colors and so on. But this is a monthly social media plan. Across the top are the days of the week, and down the side we've got the weeks in the month. And I've used the different colors to show the different type of posts, because variety in what you're posting is really good. I'm just going to move the camera. There we go. So if we have a look at week 1, you can see a lot of pink squares which say milk. And this was the missing ingredient for me when I was posting on social media, because I was spending ages creating posts, putting them out there, but then not really doing anything with them. And that's what the milk is all about. And I'll explain a bit more in a moment. So on Monday, no post. Tuesday, creating a milestone post, and we'll dive in and look at the different types of posts in a moment. Milk on Wednesday. Thursday is an adding value post with a call to action. So that's where you're asking your audience to do something, to respond to you, or to give you some information. Milk Friday, Saturday, and then a hero post on the Sunday. So I am going to explain these in a bit more detail, but does anyone have any questions at this point? If you do, feel free to speak into the space or use the chat box. Or is everyone okay? If you're okay, just give me a thumbs up and I'll carry on. Thumbs up. Okay, so let's dive in and have a look at the post in a bit more detail. I'm happy to share this post at the end, Cheryl, so maybe I can post it into the I Am Woman Facebook group. So let's dive into the different types of posts and maybe just reflect within your own business and have a think about the posts that you can create this coming week that you can then turn into clients and into sales. So the first post is a milestone post, and that's a significant event or an important development in the business. An example of that is I recently shared that I'm writing a book. So that was a significant event for me and for the business. What milestone posts, what significant events or important developments could you share on social media with your audience? And again, feel free to speak into the space or to use the chat box, because we can all help one another here with ideas. The next one is a hero post, and that's a post that shares achievements or qualities that are relating to you or the business. So last month, I did a solo trip to Amsterdam and I ran a half marathon. Both of those were big achievements for me, which I shared with my audience. I wasn't just sharing them to say, you know, look at what I've done. I was sharing them because as a coach, I'm helping people to achieve difficult things. So I shared that to say, well, if I can do it, you can do it too. So hero posts, sharing achievements and qualities. Have a think. What might you share relating to your business? Then we've got adding value posts, which is where you're giving valuable information to your audience. You wow them with your knowledge as an expert in your field. And this really builds trust with people. It shows people that you know what you're talking about. And I think when I was starting in business, part of me used to think, well, no, you know, why should I give really valuable information away for free to my audience? But it is really important that we do that so that we can build that trust with our audience. Again, so have a little think, what information do you have that would be really valuable to your audience? And then finally, client testimonials and results. So anytime you're having feedback from your clients, share that feedback. It's really powerful in gaining more clients. Last week, I shared a testimonial and another of my clients shared that on her feed on Facebook. And I've had 2 referrals over the weekend from that share. The research shows that, you know, any successful business has 1,000 raving fans, and they are people who are doing all your selling for you. They're talking about the business, they're sharing your posts, they're really celebrating who you are and what you do. I definitely don't have 1,000 raving fans yet, but I do have some, and I really try and look after them. So that person who shared my post, I've given her a complimentary 90-minute coaching session that she can use whenever she wants. And I do take time and care to really look after those people who are doing my selling for me. So client testimonials and results are really, really powerful. I've never asked my clients to do videos of themselves sharing positive feedback. I know that that's really powerful, but you know, I don't particularly enjoy talking on video myself, so I think I haven't asked my clients to do that. And I think lots of my clients sometimes don't want to give their names or even their picture. So it just depends. If you can get video testimonials, then that can be really useful for the business. So I'd love to know any post that you're thinking of that you can use within your business, and then we'll move on to the important bit, which is the milking of the posts. So just use the chat box if you've thought of a post that you can use.
Can I just add something in, Bec? I
Yeah,
think
of course.
sometimes we forget just how much marketing collateral we have, and it almost gets forgotten about. You know, we've got videos stacked up on our computers, we've got testimonials, we have feedback sheets. And sometimes I think because we get so much overload, I think it's different when you're starting up and everything's new and fresh. But when you've been in business over 10 years, you can imagine how much stuff you've got piled up. And then it's almost like as a you know, which one is going to be the most important to actually get out there today?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, and when you're thinking about that question, Cheryl, how do you decide which one, which is the important stuff to share?
Well, as I say, you know, I think there's an element of overload because I just have so many videos, and it's quite interesting, you know, talking about how Instagram is looking at the funny side of posting. I put one post out of somebody just doing a piece to camera saying, well, I come to Iron Woman and I'm feeling really down. And then at the end of the night, I feel inspired, da, 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 and I'm shouting, Iron Woman. And that got 3,500 hits.
Amazing.
And you're thinking you're writing this really sensible stuff. And then a video like that gets massive hits. So you're thinking, oh, where should I be going with this? Do people want sense or just fun?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like everything, it's a balance, isn't it? Because bringing some fun and lightness, or trying to think about what is everybody doing, and how can I do things a bit differently? And that's a perfect example of sharing something fun that's just really resonated with people. And I think there is a lot of serious stuff on social media, so it's nice. It's finding that thing that stops the scroll, that's a bit different, that people will stop and take a look at. And also, if you've got lots and lots of material to share, then don't be afraid to repeat things and share something that maybe you shared a year ago or 2 years ago. So yeah, a nice balance, a nice variety of different posts, and lightheartedness and fun as well. Thank you, Cheryl. So milking the posts then, this is what was definitely missing for me. I was spending ages creating posts and then I wasn't doing anything with them. And milking the post is where there we go. Now, this is about trying to kind of not catch out the algorithm, but try and keep the post alive. And this can probably be disputed, but there are some things that I'm noticing that are working. It's impossible to keep up with all the different algorithms. They're much quicker than we are to change them. But this is something that I've found has been working. So the advice I was given was, after you've posted it, after you've shared your post, leave it. And it can be really tempting when you're seeing likes pop up, or you're seeing that people are commenting. It can be really tempting to go back into the post and then respond to those people. It's kind of a natural thing to do, isn't it? If we're talking to somebody, we want to reply to them rather than ignore them. But after you've posted, try and leave it alone for as long as you can. And then after about 12 hours, return to the post. And if you've had, I don't know, maybe 15 comments underneath that post, just respond to the top 3 3 or 5, between 3 and 5 posts. So you can like it back, you can, you know, interact, comment on those posts, and then leave the rest. And then the day after that, you can go back in and milk it some more. And that keeps the post alive. It tells the algorithm that this is a post that people are engaging with and it's worth sharing around. And I have noticed myself that, especially with Instagram, the longer I'm away from my phone and I'm not engaging with social media, that's when I see, you know, new follower popping up, new follower, because it wants us to go to our phones and start engaging with the platform. So I have noticed that this works. Once you've posted, just try and leave it alone. Obviously, you don't want to ignore people, they're your clients. So after that, you can then have a look at anyone who has liked or shared or commented on your post. If you don't know who they are, check their profile and find some common ground. And then I always reach out to them and first of all, thank them for their support. Thank them for sharing or liking or whatever. I don't like really pushy messages. I don't like it when people drop into my inboxes and they come across as being really salesy and really pushy. But, you know, we're all different. My strategy is to just thank them for their support, tell them a little bit about myself, and then I leave it with them to get back to me. And sometimes people will say, yeah, do you know what? I know somebody who I think could benefit from this, or I've been having some challenges in my life or in my business lately, you know, can we have a chat? And that's where the client creation comes from and where the sales come from. So that's really it. That's all I have to share. It's a strategy that I've been using and it works, but I'd also love to know what you guys are doing that seems to be working in terms of creating clients from social media posts. So at this point, I'm happy to open that up to you guys.
I just share with you my experience of a post I did on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and I was amazed just how many people were lurking around on a Saturday and Sunday. And I did a milking, like you said, Bec. I'd put a post up, and it was a photograph of Lisa and I. It must have been taken about 2 years ago, but it was talking about the top 100. And it was really like a little marketing piece that it was coming up. But then I milked it because I went back into the post saying, and who do we know that's really accelerated their business growth? So it moved from being like a marketing piece, encouraging people to let us know who they were thinking about that should be nominated for the top 100. So it was really nice, people engaging and talking about who they think should be on the list, and that worked really well. So the post had sat out there, but I thought, oh, let's bring it back around and let's sort of gain some traction. But I think the biggest post I ever got traction on, a post like this, the milking it, was to throw out on social media what makes a coach. And I think that went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think the biggest post that on LinkedIn that Lisa has ever had was that somebody tweeted when she had her pink Maserati. Somebody tweeted that she had a pink Maserati, one of the neighbors, and that went viral, and the Daily Mirror picked up on it, and the Daily Mirror did a social media piece, and that went out to 10 million. Okay. And then what happened? Everyone was jumping onto Lisa's LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn actually phoned her and said, could she take the post down? Because it was causing them such problems. Because her social media went up 250,000%. And this all happened over a weekend. So I think sometimes, you know, one thing goes to another and goes to another and goes to another and goes to another. And Rachel Polton had the same thing. She put out a post that she decorated her stairs from the pound shop, and that went out to the Daily Mirror, and then went down into Homes for Living and went bonkers, you know, went out in millions of coverage. So yeah, I love this whole notion of milk in the post. I've never heard of it before.
Thank you, Cheryl. That's a really inspiring story to share, because sometimes we don't know what you know, what the media are looking for example, and it can just be that one post, you know, the right time and place, and it goes viral, and suddenly you've got a huge audience. So, you know, social media posts, they take a lot of time to write them, especially if you're making reels and you're editing video and so on. And they can also take a lot of energy in terms of, you know, courage. It's not always easy to share parts of your story or your life, or to put yourself on video. So, you know, it's important that all of this energy and time isn't going to waste, and what we're doing with the post afterwards is really, really important.
Can I just say, I really, really don't like the word milking. It just makes me cringe. This is not the word, and actually, this is not something I would do. I just, you know, and really, I think what I found with Instagram, if you post something, you know, and you wait, yeah, you know, you could be going back, getting more likes, but then, I mean, I've done that once before, and I didn't find it hugely helpful, especially contacting likes. I didn't feel comfortable personally doing it. It felt intrusive. I don't like when people do that to me. And just, yeah, it's just one of those things. However, I found, for me personally, I don't know if you mentioned hashtags. Sorry, I had to go for a moment. But hashtags is a really, really you know, it's a really useful strategy. You know, having something like the research for hashtags, finding your audience that way, and putting right hashtags. There is a whole strategy with hashtags. But yesterday, somebody told me there is a, and I've looked at it, it's really good. There is a website called #Slayer. So I don't know if anybody heard of it. #Slayer.com. Go on it. It's actually quite good. You could kind of put stuff where you just say 7 days free. You could try it out for 7 days and see how that works for you. But hashtags do work. But again, it requires time to research where your audiences are and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's few things that you could do, and engaging with people. Yeah, absolutely, you're right. You have to engage with people when they, you know, when they comment. I just don't think I would personally wait for 12 hours. You know, when people respond to my post, I usually respond to them, and then normally I would invite them to, you know, DM me or something like this, so I will DM them. But again, I just, you know, I just don't think I would be milking stuff. I will be just going with the flow, and using kind of the other thing. I don't know whether you mentioned the batch production.
No.
So batch production I found fantastic. So you do your plan, you plan all your posts, and then you batch produce them. So you allocate a day when you do your plannings, and you allocate a day if you're doing reels, where you just do all your reels in one go for the month, you know, or for half a month. So that's the best way to save time with social media. You batch produce stuff. You batch produce. You write all your captions in one day. You know, you do all of that kind of stuff, and that saves time, in my experience.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, all of this needs to be aligned with who you are as a person. I also don't like people. You said you didn't like the word milk. Is there another word that you would prefer that would, you know, kind of talks about what you do after the post? Because you know, it's important to think about what we're doing with them.
Would be the word I would use. Engagement. I just really personally don't like the word milking. It just sounds to me really, it just doesn't sound good to me. I don't think I want to milk anybody.
So engage. So nice. Yeah, that's a nice word to use. Engage with the post and engage with your audience afterwards. I don't like doing batch posting because you know, I find different ideas come to me at different points. When I'm out walking and when I'm out running, that's when I'll get ideas for my posts. I find that if I sit down and dedicate a long period of time to posting, that it just nothing happens. So for me personally, I prefer creating posts on a daily basis.
Yeah, like you said, it's personal choice, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
What works for
Absolutely.
people.
Has anyone else found a strategy that works for, you know, what you're doing with the post afterwards to create the sales and to create clients?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've done this. I've never thought about it as milking the post, but I do always go back. I mean, I normally post, say, in the morning, and then perhaps late afternoon, in the evening, I'll go back and I will respond direct messaging to people who've liked it, even if it's just to say thank you for posting, or I really liked your comment. And yes, I will go and have a look at their profile to see if there's anything else we've got in common. Because otherwise, I think you have posted for the sake of it if you don't go back and have a look at it. And I found it really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I engage, so, but I only really engage with the posts that I think are relevant. For me, there's nothing worse. I had 2 this morning alone from connections of mine saying, do you want to join my bubble? And with bubble, they mean pods. They just word it differently. And they say, oh, we all support each other on our post. And to me, I think that's the wrong thing to do. You need to engage on people's posts that you can relate to, that you can grow as a connection, as a relationship. I would not waste my time personally on commenting and liking on posts that have nothing to do with my business plan. And some of the pods really have these meaningless comments just for the sake of a comment, where people just go like, great post, fantastic, well done. And it does nothing. So my post, the milking what you're saying, Bec, is really specifically strategic. So I go on people's posts that I know I can relate to, or where we have the same audience, and I grow the relationships from there and comment and engage. And when it comes to my own posts, I do get back to them. Sometimes not straight away. We all got busy jobs. We can't be on social media all the time. Sometimes you have to leave your post alone for 10 hours. There's no other way around it. And for me, it's the best way, commenting on your own posts, comments, for then building the relationship in a personal message, thanking them for their support, and then in maybe another message asking if you can have a one-to-one. So you learn about one another rather than just yourself. And I think that is what grows business, that you build those relationships organically and properly, rather than being invited by, I don't know, there's quite a few LinkedIn ones that invite you and say like, oh, join our group, we support one another. And I don't think it's the best way.
No, I agree. Does anybody use groups or join groups you know, to grow your own business? Because that's another piece of advice that I was given, but it's not something that's really worked for me, joining other people's groups.
No, actually, it didn't work for me either. But going back to Steffi's point, that's one of the best things you could do, is engaging with other people's posts. Not your post, but going to other people's posts, liking their post, engaging with their posts, talking to people. It actually does a great thing for your SEO, for your Instagram SEO. Engaging, following people that really you want to follow, that you think you know, you could work with, or you're interested in. But, you know, just being really, really genuine, and spending time going onto, you know, researching all different accounts and commenting, engaging. I think that's the best. That's what I found to be the best strategy. I don't always find time for that, but it works.
Can I do a reach out, Bec, on this topic? I would love everyone, when they're posting, to put a copy of their post in the Iron Woman Academy, because we're all, you know, we're all there wanting to support one another, but I'm not seeing posts. So I would love everyone, when they're putting a post out, even if it's on LinkedIn or wherever they're putting it, put a copy of it into the academy, because say, for example, last week I had a new member join, but because Steffi's posts weren't in there, she didn't know we had a photographer. Because Beth Price hadn't put her post in there, she didn't know that we had somebody she could work with. Because she was working with women in the menopause, she needed to pick up with yourself, Oksana. She needed to pick up with Steffi. She needed to pick up with Beth. And she wanted to actually sample your services and buy your services. But I had a problem in that nobody had been posting in the academy for it to get a feel of who they were. So again, I think if we belong to a group, I think it's really important that we keep that group populated as well, because we forget people do want to buy from us. They do want to see what we're doing. And it's just keeping that populating going. So, we're out there in front of everyone all of the time. And I know perhaps it's something we think, well, perhaps you think, oh, it's Cheryl's group and we don't want to be salesy or something like that. No, we all need to see each other's posts, because it'll give us the opportunity to share them as well. And for new members who are coming in to say, oh, there is a photographer there who can do this, or oh, there's somebody else working with women who are going through the menopause. So say, for example, like yourself, Bec, I don't see your post copied into the Iron Woman Academy page, but the lady who joined last week or the week before, who was wanting to work with women going through the menopause, I know we all work with them, but we're not actually posting that in that group. So yeah, I'm doing it. Please, 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 will you put your posts in the Iron Woman Academy group? So when I have a new member, and we all are kept up to date with what we're doing, what our offers are, and what's occurring in our lives. Yeah, there's me. I've done my begging bit. Over to you, Bec.
That's it, Cheryl. I'm done.
All right. Well, that's perfect, because the timings are perfect. So I would love to know from everyone, what have you got from this morning's session, and how are you going to put it to work into your business? I've learned lots. I've got 3 pages full of stuff here. I love the fact that you're putting together something for the week. So it'd be lovely if you could send that and drop it into the Academy group. So that we can start mapping out what we're going to be talking about that day. I must admit, I'm quite random. It's whatever's going on in my head, or I'll see something on the news, or I will have done mentoring with somebody. And, every day I'm doing bits, I would say bits and pieces, as opposed to, as Bethan would say, being really strategic. I love that, Bethan. That we should really think strategically across the board of whatever we want to sell that week, and be strategic with the week. So I love that. I feel as though I want to be left alone for an hour now and get strategic and get busy. So that's what I've learned this morning. So over to you, Steffi. What have you learned this morning?
Well, I schedule posts on some platforms, not on all. I've been doing the 5 pillars, that what I call it. I've got 5 pillars that I talk about, which is testimonials, personal, educational posts, sales posts, imagery, non-imagery. So mine is pretty much mapped out all the time. And the engaging is what brings you clients, that you make the connections with them, and then what they call slide into their DMs and just say, look, we haven't had a one-to-one yet, shall we have a chat? And I do that regularly. I reconnect, I nurture my connections as well, and I look out for people that I would like to work with. So yeah, it's pretty much all of that what I do on a daily basis, really, is the 5 pillars that I have to jazz up in between.
I loved the post you put out last week in LinkedIn. It was an amazing graphic of it's one of those things where it's such an amazing graphic. You're thinking, I just want to do that amazing graphic for my business. I think
Which one was that?
It was a big, it looked like an A4, something you would have created in Canva.
Yeah.
The difference between people using up-to-date photography or old or no photography.
Right, okay. The old versus new. Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing post. I felt so, I want to give Steffi a round of applause. That was amazing. So how did you create that? Was that something you created in Canva?
Yeah, I do all my graphics in Canva and then convert it into posts or different posts. Yeah, and I send it out to people as well when I know I've got a connection that I'm already connected with, and I know they're not visible. I share that with them and go like, I don't know if you see my post, but this could be useful to you.
That's a really good post, really. But I was thinking, why isn't this in the academy then? Why hasn't she put this in the academy? I'm trying to warm up a client to get to Steffi to have some photos done. I'm thinking, I want to see that in the academy. So I know I could have shared it myself, but I thought, oh, Steffi, put it in the academy. There we are. There's my moan. There's my rant. But well done, Steffi. I think your social media posting is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And over to you, Yvonne. I do see Yvonne's postings. I do see her products come up. I love, the Forever products. So I'm forever looking at Yvonne's and commenting or liking. So what have you learned this morning? What would you do differently?
I think I need to do more of the milking, or whatever we're going to call it, because I think sometimes I do put a post and I think, oh, that's good. People have commented on that. And then I don't do anything with it. I do try to have a strategy. I have a Monday motivation. So I try to do a motivational post. I have a top tip Tuesday. I have a weighty Wednesday when I talk about weight products. I have a thirsty Thursday where I talk about the gels. I have a Fab Friday, which is anything that I think is fabulous that week. And I have a sharing Saturday, which is something about me or my family or something a bit personal. So, but yeah, I do need to do more, I think, of the follow-ups when people have commented. Otherwise, yeah, you've posted for nothing really, haven't you? And I do try to add new people every day. So I always look at profiles. I'm always adding at least 5 new people every day to my audience.
And where do you see your audience? Is it your personal page or a specialist group?
I do a bit of both. I usually spend a few minutes looking at any friend requests that have come in to see if there's anything in common. Then I will actually do a search on perhaps well-being or goal setting, or if I'm particularly looking for ex-teachers who are looking for jobs, I'll do a search. But I do look at groups as well, and I do engage. I think you've got to be careful with groups. I've joined lots of groups, and then after it, I think you've got to give it a few weeks, see how it is. But some groups, nobody engages, and then there's no point. Because if you're the only person engaging in a group, just come out. But some groups are really good.
So could you recommend any groups to anybody here?
Well, I have might not be of use to anybody else, but I'm in a fabulous IBS group, and they're very excited about learning about drinking gels.
Oh, lovely.
It's a bit niche, but I've had lots of new clients from that one.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah.
And over to you, Oksana. What have you learned? What are you going to put to work for you today?
It's always good to be reminded of engagement and all of that stuff on Instagram. I find it, it's just another reminder really for me. But honestly, I agree with everything that Steffi said in terms of the engagement. Engagement is the main thing. It's time that you're going to spend engaging with people. One thing I think that's just a fantastic comment that you, Cheryl, made is liking each other's posts and kind of having a track of what people do. So I know that I don't follow everybody because I don't know everybody's accounts on Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram. I don't do much on Facebook, and my audience seem to be mostly on Instagram. So yeah, maybe we could share our accounts so people know who to follow. And then once they follow them, maybe we can do the comments and likes and shares. And I think that would be a really, really good thing for us all to do. And then we know a little bit more about each other and about what we do, and we could support each other in that way, perhaps a lot more. I think that would be really quite good.
And I think it's encouraging for people who are just starting, because I know when I started Facebook, it was over 10 years ago. And it was when Facebook was a small audience. And I can remember I was thinking, before I launch Iron Woman, I'd like to have at least 10 people in the Iron Woman group. And so that happened in an hour. Then I thought, oh, I think I'd like to have 100 women in the Iron Woman group before the launch of Iron Woman. And we ended up with 1,000, and we had everyone helping to get people
Amazing.
that group, and it was amazing. And the only theory I thought of was, if I'm doing this in my pajamas, it's not technology. So I'd sit in my pajamas doing the Facebook ads and everything like that, thinking this can't be real because I'm doing it in my pajamas. Because I think if I thought I was being really techie and really salesy, I'd think, oh gosh, I can't do this. But, you know, sometimes I think we forget the fun part of it and the enjoyment part of it. Perhaps there are women out there today just waiting to contact you, just waiting to connect, and just waiting to get alongside you and, you know, do business with you. I think we forget that sometimes. We think we try and make it hard work as opposed to having a bit of fun with it.
And I think we all have clients, all of us, like you, what you, Cheryl, was saying, we all have clients that would probably benefit from, you know, from services of somebody, you know, in Iron Woman,
Yeah.
you know, so I think that would be really, really, really good thing to do as well. You know, sharing what we have, because a lot of people here, you know, have a lot of talents.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of talents, and they offer great service for people. So just talking about this. But another point I think really, really important to remember is that sometimes people follow and comment on your post, but they're really not interested in anything that you do. They just do comments and follows for follows and comments back. So it's just being aware of that. And but yeah, and also I have a bit of a request. If anybody is professional and really, really good at LinkedIn, if we could have, maybe you've had it already and I'm just late to the party, a LinkedIn talk, I would really, really like it, because I'm not even on LinkedIn. Everybody seems to be on LinkedIn.
Well,
yeah.
Perhaps we'll come to either Steffi or Beth, because they both use LinkedIn a lot. So
It's such a good platform as well, isn't it?
Well, I'm more than happy to invite Pam Case, the lady I did my LinkedIn course with, as a guest speaker.
That'd be amazing.
She's fabulous, and her tips honestly have changed my LinkedIn engagement and what I got out from it completely.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
So perhaps I could get in contact with her. I know we've got.
I can do that, because this is what I was just going to mention. I think rather than, for example, tagging somebody saying, you know, for example, Marina, you need Cheryl, go and get in touch with her. For example, this weekend, I was not on Facebook at all, because I was really, really, really busy doing training with other photographers. So my notifications were like 3 days long, and I haven't mentioned to see that. If you want to connect people that could do from each other services, I think a personal connection is always the best thing. That you do a personal connection saying, you know, hi Cheryl, this is so and so, I think you should need a chat, or there could be some synergy, whatever, because then you already have a conversation rather than a tag. I think tags get missed like this if you really are not on the platform for at least 48 hours, which I'm quite often not. When I'm shooting or when I'm out and about, I don't see my notifications. And you know what it's like, you're on 5 different platforms, you come back and all you have is notifications. It's impossible to get back to them all. You just don't see things, and that's how things get missed. So if I, for example, know somebody now that could do with Bec as a life coach, I would literally strike up the conversation in a private message saying, Bec, this is Jodie, she needs you. Or, you know, she's got something she struggles with.
Because I was chasing you last week, wasn't I? I chased Steffi last week saying, hey, get in contact.
See, I have not seen that.
All right, okay.
Because I've been away from Facebook. I post on Facebook, yeah, in between, just so I post something. But reading, when I've been away now since Thursday, I've not seen a thing.
Right, okay. So perhaps there's some stuff there that needs to happen. So we're going to come to you then, Beth. So what have you learned from this morning, and what are you going to put into action?
Well, this is really timely for me, because of course in December nobody wants to see a financial advisor to hear common sense about their money, because they're out spending on presents. They want to see me in January, where they've then got a bit of remorse over what they've done. So December tends to be when I try and get organized for the new year. So what I'll do is I will sit and I will write a load of posts, because they all have to be pre-approved as well because of the FCA rules. I will write material for a lot of, well, the first half of next year, really. I've already know what, as with Steffi, I sort of got pillars that I try and work around. So yeah, that's December's job, is to sit and get maybe 20, 24 posts written, approved and good to go. So come January, I'm not having to spend that time. It's all done in advance. I'm not technical enough to sort of set up any system that will post them on certain days. I will physically post them as and when I decide they're relevant. But yeah, that's next month's big job, really, is my social media.
Right, lovely, thank you. Wow, that takes some discipline though, Beth, doesn't it? 20 posts, but it's something you've got to do if you've got to get pre-approval on them.
Exactly, because it can take me 2 weeks to go from writing something to having all the approvals in place to be allowed to post it. So I can't write things and try and be topical, because by the time it's approved, it's no longer topical. But a lot of the advice I give isn't necessarily of a timely fashion. They're things that are always relevant. So given that I know exactly which areas next year I'm likely to want to focus on, I've just got to sit down and do it. And because I used to work in publishing, I quite miss sitting and writing and editing and proofreading things. So it's like a little month going back to my previous life.
Lovely, thank you, Beth. So coming back to you then, Bec, if you'd like to round up, because I know we've got some comments in the chat box from Bethan as well. So perhaps you'd like to incorporate that in your roundup before we close?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Cheryl. It's been really lovely to hear people's different strategies. I love the 5 pillars that's Yvonne was talking about. I've made a note of that. And, you know, variety is the spice of life. So it's nice to hear and share what we're all doing. I'm just having a look at Bethan's post. Where is it? Oh, it's a long one. There we are. Okay. Agree with Steffi, it's tough. It gives short-term boosts, but long-term there's no real benefit because it's just your new baseline. And if you get less comments or reactions, it looks bad from the algorithm. Lovely to hear everyone's thoughts on social media and how they make it work. Personally, we almost do the opposite, Bec, and try to get responses out relatively promptly. That's interesting. As I said, that was a plan that was given to me, so it was interesting to hear people who are doing different things. Hang on, I've lost it now. Response that relatively promptly, but the other aspects you mentioned about engaging rings true for our own tactics too. I think some of this comes down to different strokes for different folks. Yeah, it has to be aligned. Everything in business needs to be aligned with who we are as individual business people. Groups like Facebook groups have worked, but no bubbles, pod style groups. Adding groups, different posts. Been a pleasure. Big takeaway has been how great it is to hear all of your thoughts and understanding of social media. Can't wait to see how you continue to grow in this space. And I think amazing to hear from Bethan, who's definitely following her passions in business and travel, being in Bali. So thank you, Bethan, and thank you to everyone else for being here today as well. It's been a pleasure. It's been lovely to see you all. Thank you, Cheryl.
And thank you, Bec. Amazing. Lots of top tips shared there. So thank you very much for sharing those with us. And next week, same time, same place, 11 o'clock till 12 noon on Monday. I hope we can have a really great turnout next Monday again, because we've got the amazing Lisa Marie Brown telling us what's in a brand. And boy, does she build a massive brand, you know. And she has, you know, there's only 1.5% of women in Formula One racing in any way, shape or form. And so she really has to battle in a man's world. You know, she has to cope with things like death threats on a weekly basis, and people actually turning up and actually physically sabotaging an event, standing in the road selling donuts, stopping the fast cars getting through into her car events, you know. And she genuinely has around 1,500 people turn up with their fast cars when she's doing her big events. So she's got lots to share with you, how she does that and how she builds the brand Pink. As you know, she's got, you know, a £250,000 McLaren. She's just now starting to work with McLaren, developing their brands and their products with them. So she's got loads to share with us. So that's next Monday. So do pop in and see Lisa, because you'll learn tons from her, how to do it and the lessons she's learned along the way. So thank you everyone for a fabulous morning. Enjoy the week ahead and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Sorry, Cheryl,
Yeah.
can you message me your phone number so I can